So now we're going to start our assembly process for block 8. Block 8 starts off with making our strip pieces for our corner beam units. We are going to sew a red and a purple rectangle together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and we're going to press to the red side. You're going to repeat this 4 more times. So your unit will look like this when complete. Next, you're going to take one of these rectangles and you're going to place it on the side of your corner beam unit. Let's lay our corner beam unit out like this and our rectangle like that. And we're going to sew this rectangle on top of this side. Right sides together, use a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then you're going to press towards your corner beam unit. Once that is done, you're going to sew your strips that we have made on the bottom. You're going to flip it over and you're going to sew those together. And when you get done with that, you're going to press towards the bottom, towards the rectangle and the red square. So your unit will look like this. These will be your corner units in your block. Now that we have our corner beam units done, we're now ready to start stitching each one of these rows together to start assembling our block. We're going to start by lining up our first and our second row, which are identical. We're going to take our corner beam and place one on each side of our V block. The narrow end goes towards the top where the tops of our corner beams are, and the wide end is next to the red squares of our corner beam unit. We are then going to flip one of the sides over, stitch a 1/4 inch seam allowance, press to the outside, and repeat on the other side also by flipping it over, stitch a 1/4 inch seam allowance, press to the outside. When you have the first row done, repeat for the second row, and then you'll be ready for the middle row. Now we're ready to assemble our middle row. We're going to take our 2 remaining V blocks and we're going to line them up so that the points are facing to our left and to our right. The wide ends are going to be facing the middle, which is our square in a square unit. We are going to flip over a V block on top of our square in a square unit, ensuring everything is lined up. So a good 1/4 inch seam allowance, and you're going to press towards the square in a square unit. And then repeat on the other side by flipping this unit over, this V block unit, and stitching a good 1/4 inch seam allowance and pressing towards the square in the square unit. Once you have this row done, you only need to make one. You're going to place your first row on top, and you're going to place your bottom row down below and sew them together. And you're going to make your big 18 by 18 medallion block. Now that we have all of our rows assembled, we have a nice 18.5 by 18.5 block, ensuring that you have pressed your rows into one direction, making sure that the top row is pressed towards the center and the center row is pressing down to the bottom row. Now we're ready to begin our quilt top assembly process.